Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. It's been a while. I honestly can say that I am a little bit rusty, and I'm a little bit nervous. But you got to get back into the swing of things. I uploaded the WWE shop unboxing, my Undertaker plaque. No, my Brock Lesnar plaque. What the heck was I thinking about? I guess I was looking at the Undertaker plaque in the background. I'm honestly thinking of what the heck I'm going to do with it. I sort of really like the plaques that I have on the wall now, so I'm sort of stuck with those ones. But I had a fun morning this morning. Went to the gym, listened to some Bauer and Pollock. Honestly, in my opinion, one of the best damn podcasts going today. I haven't been able to talk about wrestling, so I feel like I can go 100 miles an hour. But when it comes down to it, on Monday, I missed Monday Night Raw completely. I came home from work and immediately wanted to watch the Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H podcast. From there, it was over, and I sort of was soaking things in. I wasn't able to make a video on it because I didn't have a channel at the time, but I went to bed immediately after that, not even really realizing that it was Monday, even though they sort of mentioned Monday Night Raw during the show. And from there, just went to bed, woke up in the morning, of course, listening to the Wrestling Observer. Honestly, Sempervini and Dave Meltzer make a good show. I mean, I can't complain about it when I pay $10 a month to listen to it. But for some reason, that review to me just I didn't retain anything. For some things, Sempervini went like 100 miles an hour, and for some things, he went really, really slow, and it was just like, come on, let's get to it. I know that Alvarez talked about it in his Figure 4 Daily, talking about, improving the audio. It wasn't really the audio to me. I didn't sink in with that episode. I listened to a review of Raw with Pollock and Wei Ting. I liked the review, and at the end of the show, it just sort of seemed like it was one that I really wish I would have watched. You had the main event of Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan had to beat Seth Rollins in order to get a shot at Roman Reigns at FASTLANE, and that's going to be his ticket to getting to Wrestlemania. And I honestly think I know what happened on Raw, but it sort of seems like it would have been an episode that I really would have watched and been able to soak in, because it seemed like there was a lot to it. A lot of people are thinking that WWE is sort of changing the direction on where they're going. Maybe the Roman Reigns backlash, hashtag canceled WWE, has gotten to the heads of Vince McMahon and Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and maybe they are going to give the WrestleMania 30 main event to Daniel Bryan. I think that, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan is going to be a damn good match, one that's going to be having everybody thinking about what is going down. I know that, for the build from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania must be very hard for WWE. They have the February pay-per-view. Normally they don't run a pay-per-view in March, and then they have WrestleMania be the first week of April. So it's like a big block of time to sort of get you from one pay-per-view to the next. There was another really big gap in WWE. I can't remember if it was from SummerSlam to Night of Champions, but I remember it was really exciting because it seemed like a lot of things could be actually changing in WWE. Normally, they run through pay-per-views so fast, where they just sort of, WrestleMania Extreme Rules. I think after that one, they normally do Payback, and then there's Money in the Bank, so it's just sort of like the same match over and over and over again, because there's no time to really break guys off and sort of shuffle the deck around and be able to give you fresh matchups. But, when the Royal Rumble went down, a lot of people were pissed that Roman Reigns won. I think everybody was able to see that Roman Reigns was going to win the Royal Rumble, probably, honestly, at least at SummerSlam last year. You really saw that Roman Reigns was the guy that they were getting behind. And I think that's even when I clocked in saying that, Roman Reigns was going to win the Royal Rumble. He was going to go on. He was probably going to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. And that's when, Roman Reigns was going to get that brass ring and be able to move on. Daniel Bryan is one of my favorite wrestlers. I kept saying it through all of my Royal Rumble videos that, my bet is on Roman Reigns. If I had anybody that was going to bet money that somebody was going to win, I would have put my bet with Roman Reigns. It seemed like the easy pick, but I said that my heart, the guy that I'd be rooting for, would be Daniel Bryan. And when we were watching the Rumble, I had crappy numbers drawn in the Rumble pool. I either had 9 and 10 or I had 10 and 11, one or the other. But when number 10 came out and it was Daniel Bryan, I thought I had won. I said I got money. I thought Daniel Bryan had a great number, that he'd be able to go on and have a great Rumble. You don't want him to come out number 1. You don't want him to come out number 2. That'd be too easy. You don't want him to come out in the late 20s because that makes it sort of too predictable. Number 10 is a good number that he could have won at, but it seemed like Daniel Bryan came in, he hit a lot of moves, he had his Royal Rumble moments, and then was just dumped out of the deal. He got his big sort of, surprise soak-in that he was on the outside. And then he was, sort of shuffled off to the back so Goldust could make his entrance and come into the Rumble. And then, they had a little bit of time for the Rumble to build up before Roman came out, I believe at number 19, and for him to take the whole damn thing over. A lot of directions that they could be going from here. You could already tell that at Fastlane it's going to be a big blow-off for these two dudes, two baby faces going at it to see who goes to WrestleMania as the main guy. Daniel Bryan put up the fight that he was stripped of his championship and he never lost a championship fight, so he should be given his a rematch. That might work in MMA or UFC. A guy comes back and immediately goes in and gets a championship fight if he lost his championship due to injury or they had an interim champion or anything like that. But Roman Reigns, picked up the ball when Bryan was gone. Bryan came back from injury, had a series of matches with Kane on SmackDown, but he lost a one-on-one match against Bray Wyatt that I don't think anybody has forgot. I don't know why you can come back and have like your build-up match to get you ready for the Royal Rumble, lose that match, and then come back and say that you still deserve to be the number 1 contender to go on to WrestleMania. If anything, the guy that beat you should be gaining a lot of steam, and it's debated whether if they're going to do Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker or anything like that, but I don't know. This could go in a lot of directions. I've already made one video talking about how Daniel Bryan could go crazy over the fact of not getting the WrestleMania main event. We've already seen stories in the dirt sheets how, Daniel Bryan is standing up for himself, turning down a match with Sheamus at WrestleMania, basically saying that there's no reason for him to do this. For some reason, WWE loves the matchup of Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. It was a match that's supposed to happen at WrestleMania 27, was changed to a Battle Royal, in which I thought that, Great Khali walked out as a new U.S. champion that night. At 28, they had the seconds match. It was rumored to be the WrestleMania 30 match for Daniel Bryan, and here they are throwing it out there again. Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 31. I can understand why Daniel Bryan wants something new. Daniel Bryan does have a good amount of stroke in WWE. Not many guys get to go into WrestleMania and win the opening match as well as, the main event, being the guy that WrestleMania is really based around. And, going on, even though he did have, the Extreme Rules match against Kane, and then, he was supposed to have the match at Payback, which was supposed to be him versus Kane again in the Buried Alive match, making you think that maybe Daniel Bryan, even though he was the WWE champion, was going to be treated a lot like CM Punk, where he wasn't the main focus about what was going down in WWE at the point. He just happened to be the guy that was holding the belt, trying to make all the fans happy. I don't think Daniel Bryan deserves to have the Royal Rumble win and deserves to have the WrestleMania main event every year. Daniel Bryan's a damn good wrestler, and he's got a lot of fans, but Daniel Bryan to me is not Hulk Hogan. I always bring up the fact of what my boss told me when we talk about WWE and how he didn't like Daniel Bryan being the champion, because if you're going to go into a back alley brawl and you're going to fight a whole bunch of dudes and you have anybody in your team, like let's say you're picking, your tag team partner to go into a dark alley and duke it out, with two big dudes. Is Daniel Bryan going to be the guy you're going to pick? Or are you going to pick a guy like Big Show? Are you going to pick a guy like Roman Reigns, a guy that can really have your back? I mean, if I'm going into any dark alley looking like myself, I'm in trouble. So I want somebody big and somebody strong. I know that Roman Reigns is a guy that, easily from the CM Punk interview from last year, well, I guess not last year, because last year was 2014, 2013 TLC, Roman Reigns, as the Shield going up against CM Punk. CM Punk was, telling us that they were trying to make Roman Reigns look really strong, even at that point. To build him up and see how far he can go. Now here he is, the Royal Rumble winner going in. I think there's a lot of things. I'm looking at Daniel Bryan to see what he's going to do. Easily, he's very marketable as a babyface. I think that it's a little bit of a risk to turn him heel, but definitely during Daniel Bryan's heel run, he was still one of the most over guys, selling a lot of no t-shirts, and always getting a good reaction out of the crowd every time he came out. So I don't know if it would be horrible to do that, but then again, he was the tag team champion. He was tagging up with Kane. I'm looking at the other direction. I think there's money in turning Roman Reigns heel and seeing how you can build off from this. Maybe Roman Reigns joins the Authority at Fastlane. Maybe he sees the writing on the wall that, Hunter does have his best interest. Join Triple H, join Stephanie. You can sort of have a mini reunion with Seth Rollins. But then again, Seth Rollins having the Money in the Bank, and then also having the guy that's going on to WrestleMania as the guy who's going to having that Money in the Bank thing to cash in at any minute. Sort of makes Seth Rollins look like he's taking a back role in a back seat. But then maybe you could build up to another Shield explosion, where basically maybe, you're already establishing Roman Reigns, I guess, as your top heel at that point. Then you have Seth Rollins, maybe have him turn babyface. But then again, you have the Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton feud that's got to boil over at some point. And if you turn Seth Rollins, then you've got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins as, baby faces together, and, they don't really like each other, but then maybe Seth would just say he delivered the curb stomp because he was told by the Authority, and now maybe you got some tag team main events built up of Seth Rollins and Randy Orton going up against Roman Reigns and a partner of the the Big Show from the Authority. Those can main events of Monday Night Raws. I'm not telling you that those are good matches. I'm just, saying that those would be easy, main event things that come down the road. But there's a lot of reasons to pay attention to Fastlane. I know that a lot of people on Monday were tweeting out that, Fastlane's really turning out to look like it's good pay-per-view. I remember when they took away the Elimination Chamber, and said they were just going to go with a normal pay-per-view, and then they gave this the name of Fastlane, which is a pun off, the Fastlane on the road to WrestleMania. They're even calling, Rusev and John Cena the match that was supposed to take place at WrestleMania, sort of pulling the curtain back, saying that this was already booked for WrestleMania, but because, John Cena and Rusev had the mix-up in the back at the end of the Royal Rumble in the post-show, that they're building towards something, and they're just going to, push it up forward. But lots of reasons. We're going to find out who's going to be in the main event. I still have my money on Roman Reigns, but there's a little bit of time before Fastlane. So, some things could happen, some things could go down, and we're going to have to wait and see. But I was surprised by this match. Playing with the fans, dangling this in front of their face, that they could get what they want with Daniel Bryan being the guy who's going to main event WrestleMania, only to pull that carrot away at the last minute. You saw the explosion at the end of the Royal Rumble with, hashtag cancel WWE Network. What's it going to be like? Even though Fastlane's free, and that's a whole nother story. You're going to, cancel the WWE Network and they're going to give it to you for free. How many people do you think really cancel the WWE Network instead of, putting out the hashtag and saying they were going to do it? And how many people that canceled it signed up to get the free February? Fuck free February. If you don't want the network, don't have the network. In my opinion, they shouldn't be giving it away. But then again, it really worked for the free October with Survivor Series, or was it November, whatever it was. And they said that a whole lot of people just, either forgot not to cancel or realized that it was a good deal and they got to go into it. Worked for them. But the road to Fastlane, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, Lots of reasons this is going to be a big match. We're going to see what goes down. Peace out, everybody.